invitation. Well, we have several questions for you. The idea is to tell the people about the English program that you promote during Lagos government, right?
Thank you. Yes, I feel very proud of having the opportunity and the privilege to contribute in my country as a Minister of Education, launching a program called El Inglés Abre Puertas.
Correct.
That was in 2003. And it has lasted till now and has improved a lot the capacity of the Chileans to manage with English. Now, my idea at the time, as we talked with President Lagos, was that Chile is a small country. When you are a small country, you need your own people to be able to communicate with others. We have launched many programs for free trade agreements with other countries that helped us to export. But after that, what? And you need people that can communicate with others, travel, invent new products, sell what you are doing, understand and learn from others. So I thought and I said, look, the next stage, if we could become a country that most of the people manages English, we are able to increase our level of the quality of life. That's how we started, and we saw many people very interested in that. That's was, I think, a correct idea.
Great. Yeah, I agree with that. I had the chance to work with the program, and I think that all the people received this idea as a very good idea. But I think that it wasn't easy, right, to implement a project like this. Which were the the main obstacle that you face to implement this program?
In education, the most important thing is the motivation of each person that will think that learning that aspect, in this case, the language, a new language, that will improve your capacity to live better, to communicate with others, to enter into internet. It was just at the time where the communications were expanding very rapidly, and people like that I love the guy, and he died, Steve Jobs, was changing the world.
Exactly.
So when almost half of the material you find in the internet is written in English, again, the communications were very important for each one. So the motivation was there. At the beginning, I was in doubt. Are the families willing to accept this? Are they considering that for their sons that's important? And young people will see that as something interesting for them. And I realized later that it was. And especially mothers from low-income groups will feel that if their sons will manage English and at the same time computer sciences connections, that will help them to be at the vanguard of new jobs for the future.
Did you connect technology with English learning also?
And also, in that sense, when we started analyzing what was needed in the country to expand our capacity, most of the interviews were telling us technicians managing English. So we said we have to combine both things. It's still needed. I think it's one of the highest priorities of Chile at this point. So motivation was there. What else? Teachers. And we had a small amount of number of teachers. We needed more, and among those that were there, not all were well prepared.
Yeah.
So when we studied what were the weaknesses, we realized that many teachers were teaching English in Spanish in the school, in the classroom. So that was a second factor, quite important. And thirdly was the capacity to have resources, financial resources, to start the program with a global and national coverage as we did. And the three things moved ahead, and I am optimistic that we can continue in that line.
Yeah, that's right. From your point of view, there was different lines of action that were implemented in the English Open Doors program. Which one of them was the most important or provoked a better impact in the community?
I would say first, the most important one, teachers again. So we launched the program to create networks of teachers. And we put some more money to prepare those teachers. And I saw them very motivated. And at this point, after 2004, 2011, 7 years, we have almost more than 50% of teachers have have gone through these courses and this specialization. Then we moved strongly to increase the number of students of English language. Many universities started doing that because they saw that was a big market as far as the people would realize that they needed to do that, not only secondary students or first or primary schools, but also in the universities, technical formation, and also those working, they will increase their market.
And there was a lack of teachers.
So we moved in both directions. I think that was the most important one. And again, to convince people that was very important, and students that they realized that they should learn that. I remember as a joke at the beginning, when I launched this program, some people came out criticizing that and saying, that's depending from the US or from developed countries. They were seeing some sort of theory of dependency because of the language you use. But nobody paid much attention to that. The second one was more absurd, saying, what is he doing, this minister? The Chileans don't manage Spanish, and he wants them to speak English. But I think that those things, and then I had, unfortunately, also some surprise from the French teachers, teachers of French. They saw something that was not true, that we were obliging people to take English as a first language. No, we say it's the same policy as always. Each one has to choose a language. If it's Arabic or Chinese or Japanese or French or German, they choose. But anyhow, we think that we have to provide more emphasis on English. In France, which is the first language after French? English. So it's not something that we are doing now. Teachers of French, I think, are very good teachers. They are very well formed. So I asked at the time the people of the Ministry of Education to try to form teachers that would be bilingual, teaching English and French. It didn't work much, but I think that helps.
Based on your experience, and I think that maybe you look for some other models internationally, which one do you think that we should look at or maybe implement in Chile or adapt to Chile?
Well, the way we approached was analyzing the technologies that could be used to strengthen the capacity to multiply the capacity of the teachers. We started looking at building probably some rooms in the schools where, as we did with the computers, to have it with languages, so to help them to do these things. We considered the idea of what is called immersion, to have a place where you can bring all the people for 2 or 3 months that they can only speak in English, not in another language. So we analyzed the idea of volunteers that will come from other countries. And I would say that the program we developed was equilibrated with all those elements, but with first emphasis on having good teachers doing their teaching in English, having good materials, and also using new technologies. And we moved in that direction. We compared that with other countries. I remember that I was invited for a discussion with the Minister of Education of Mexico, and we were exchanging views on how to do that. I promoted English as a common language of countries of APEC, because we received Minister of Education in 2004 coming from all APEC, and we said that was the Chilean proposal, how we are going to speak among each other, English. So we start looking at how the Chinese and the Americans, North Americans, were dealing with each other in order to learn both languages, and they had developed new policies. I tried to copy those policies to do this.
So you took a little bit of
we took from everything, and I think we built something very nice. In fact, when I received in 2006 this prize of recognition by TESOL Award for Chile as we did it, I felt that there's lots of things to progress, and I think the students and you, the teachers, must tell us how to continue improving.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you that question. What do you think is the next step for this program, or in Chile in general? What is the next step to make people move into the awareness of the importance of English into action?
We have to show in different ages there are different motivations. And young people are involved mostly in games,
Yeah, that's good.
in
networks.
Facebook,
Yeah.
in exchange of entering into internet to prepare their own classes. So to show how they can expand enormously their networks and their knowledge using English. Television programs, YouTube, many of them are in English.
Yeah.
Friends that they get, traveling in the world, knowing the world, and then studying new things. And then when they work for other groups, the possibility, if you go to the university, to have a technical background, to have a language that will help you to go around the world, to find new jobs, to earn more money, to build new businesses. So I think we need to emphasize that aspect, to create the motivation. The motivation is central. We are improving that, but we are still lagging there.
Yeah, so the idea is to emphasize the motivational aspects, but focus on the different generations or ages.
For instance, we haven't done well yet in putting enough pressure and asking universities to integrate English into their curriculum. The same with centers, as we call centers de formación técnica, or professional institutes, that are short careers. Again, to put English into it. And then Corfo started a program when we asked them to do it, to prepare people with a smaller knowledge of English, probably 2,000 words, whatever it is, on tourism, on
Servicios globales, is the other
restaurants, on taxi drivers, and things beyond that in terms of the use of English, and motivation and specificity of those motivations in different sectors are I think, still lacking, but we can do it.
There's a concept that everybody uses to refer to improvement of English in our country, that is to become a bilingual country. What do you think about that?
We have to distinguish three concepts. Bilinguals are those that start from the very beginning. They are born by using two languages. It's not our case. We are not, our aim is not to become bilinguals. Second is English as a second language. It's not our case either, because it happens when Latin Americans from Central America, for instance, or Mexico, go and live into the United States. They bring their own first language, that's Spanish, and they live in the United States. They are immersed in that society. It's the second language. In our case, it's English as a foreign language, and therefore, the way you teach them, the timing of the teaching, the curriculum you build has to be coherent with that objective, and in the sense that, well, you will manage thousands of words, building some sentences, managing in different levels. And then, of course, we must go much beyond what we are doing in terms of scholarships, staying abroad. As you know, we have been building a fund with monies from Cooper to push for education. So many people that will start going, not just studying English, but if they go to get a PhD in music or in engineering or in medicine, well, they will need a language. And then they will come back, and therefore they will promote the language among their friends, among the children.
What do you think is pending to be done in EFL, English as a foreign language?
I think we have to go beyond the programs we have for primary and secondary school. I think they are working, not well enough, but anyhow, let me just say that when we measured the abilities and the knowledge of English in 2004 at the beginning, and it was with the University of Cambridge. It was a bidding, and they won that bid. We came out with a number of 5% of all students of 4th grade were reaching the standard established that was ALTE 2, the European standard for English as a foreign language, number 2, 5%. The measurement done by the so-called SIMSE in 2010 showed that 11% was at that. So it was more than doubling. It's good, but it's not enough. So the goal must be much larger. But we have, what are we doing with people that left secondary school? How to keep them without losing what they learned? What to do with people that are already at the university? And we are increasing the number of tertiary education in Chile. We're now over 45% of people between 18 and 24 years are already going to tertiary education. And I think in 4 or 5 years we will be 60%, 70%. Are we going to ask for English as also some obligatory or mandatory or not, or other language as a mandatory? We have to decide that. We have to go beyond that. And then we have the companies. Companies must start giving with census system that we have to finance that. So you have to extend that. And even also with television. Because I remember once we received the Prime Minister of Finland.
Yeah.
She came to Chile and I talked to her and said, how do you do things to achieve such a level and the knowledge of English? Well, she said, probably one of the reasons is that we don't double the language for all films and materials that are provided in television. It's original, and we subtitle that. So you read more in your language and you listen the foreign language, and that has been very stimulating. So I think that kind of things should be expanded in Chile.
And the last question, which ways of collaboration did you receive from the American Embassy for this program, the English Open Doors program, or what other actions have you done with the Embassy?
In the future, the collaboration with the United States and other developed countries will be more and more on education, less and less in terms of aid. Aid was the tradition of 30 years ago, the Alliance for Progress and that kind of approach. Today, one area is technology, science, research, education. And in this area of education, I think that it's useful for both governments to push an understanding in bringing more people from the United States as fellows, as we have now, that gives good results, volunteers to help our teachers, and at the same time to learn Spanish. So they will learn more about, and they will leave a legacy in terms of the language. The same, I tried to do it, and we pushed for having the same agreements with the UK, with Australia, with New Zealand, even with India. I remember having a meeting with the Minister of Education of India and thinking in those terms, Ireland. So having a base on all English-speaking people, to have a larger amount of them coming to Chile to help learning Spanish, knowing Chile, and also teaching here. And on the opposite side, the same. So we can send teachers of English. We are providing scholarships to teachers of English to go abroad. They can stay for 3 months, 6 months, and do the same. To teach Spanish, to improve their English.
Right.
That's the international exchange that we can push more and more.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing your experience and all this story about the English Open Doors program. That personally think that it has been one of the best initiatives in the last years in education. I had the chance to work with the program, and I think, and I live it myself, that it's a great impact in the community. It teaches especially that needed this support from the ministry. So thank you very much again for this interview, and well, I hope that you could come again to another kind of maybe panels or conferences that we could do about English teaching.
I will be delighted, and congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.